Why would Alexander want to collect swamp matter in that old lamp? The little china teacup is made of fine porcelain. The teacup is empty. The teacup feels delicate and fragile. The teacup is too delicate to be played around with. Alexander might break it.
What do you think you're doing?
You startled me. I was just getting some swamp ooze.
Well, you certainly won't get it there! That's not swamp ooze! That's swamp muck!
He's right, you know. But he could be a little nicer about telling you. He's not a very pleasant stick in the mud.
Nobody asked you! Be quiet!
Oh, the trials of being a mere bump on a log.
That's not swamp ooze! That's swamp slime!
It's true. He's right. Extremely irritating, but right.
Shut up! Shut up! You worthless bump on a log!
Oh, the cross that I must bear. Would that I could but avenge this uncalled-for abuse.
That's not swamp ooze! That's swamp sludge!
Oh, you really won't make any progress that way. He'll hog that swamp ooze of his. You'll never see a bit of it, no.
I'll show you a bit of it! I'll knock your head off with it if you don't stop yapping!
You see how he is?
Alexander already knows that's not swamp ooze. Stick in the Mud glares crankily at his brother Bump on a Log. Bump on a Log is glaring angrily at his brother Stick in the Mud. Alexander can't reach the cranky Stick in the Mud. Bump and his log are too heavy for Alexander to carry. Besides, Bump on a Log is rather a homebody, the ultimate couch potato. Bump on a Log can't help Alexander out with that teacup. It's his brother that has access to the ooze. If Alexander threw the teacup at Stick in the Mud, he'd probably never get it back. Stick doesn't seem too accommodating.
Perhaps you could toss me some swamp ooze, since you seem to be able to recognize it. I can only reach this bit by the path.
Well, hoity-toity, look who's Mr. Wants so much! You think I got a job here passing around precious swamp matter? You should be so lucky!
He's an utter waste of oxygen. I'd save my breath if I were you.
But really,
Never! I got your swamp ooze right next to me, and that's where it's gonna stay! This swamp ooze is mine! Period.
Alexander isn't getting anywhere by talking to that cranky Stick in the Mud. The creature simply refuses to toss Alexander any swamp ooze.
who are you?
I'm Bump on a Log, and that's my brother, Stick in the Mud. We've had this thing about each other ever since our childhood. Mom always liked me best.
She did not! That is absolutely not true!
He's a bit lazy, you see. He's got the only swamp ooze in the swamp right next to him. But do you think he'd move a finger to help you get some? Hardly. He'd try to brain you with it more than likely. His temper's about the only thing that ever gets a workout, and that on yours truly.
Oh, like you've moved at all in the last century! Like you're Mr. Physical Activity!
Just because I can't reach anything, he thinks he can throw gushy swamp matter at me and just say whatever he likes. If only I could turn the tables on that heckler, he might learn some respect. But as you can see, I am a mere bump on a log and must be content with my lot.
Oh, shut up! You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn even if you had something to throw! Just shut up!
You see how he is?
Is there anything I can do to make peace between you two? You are brothers, after all.
He needs a good thrashing, I expect. However, since you cannot go into the swamp, nor can I fight back, he will simply have to be born. Such is the life of a bump on a log.
Is there anything I can do for you, Bump on a Log?
Oh, there's no changing my lot in life. A bump on a log is a defenseless creature, alas, and must put up with whatever cruelty fate dishes out.
Perhaps I can help you out by throwing a rotten tomato at Stick in the Mud for you.
Really? I appreciate the gesture, but the swamp is broader than it looks. Only a native like myself would be able to hit him from here.
I thought this might come in handy the next time your brother starts picking on you.
Aha! Finally, old Bump on the Log's not so defenseless, is he?
Hey! Hey! What you doing there? Watch the pulp, would you? Now, Bumpy! Remember all I've given you!
The only thing you've ever given me is mud. Take this!
No! Not into the swamp!
Hey, okay, I give up. Geez, sorry.
Well, I guess it's not very pleasant having things thrown at you. I'm sorry.
You mean it? Really? Brother.
Brother!
Stick in the Mud and Bump on a Log, exhausted from the battle, immediately doze off into naps. Rotten Tomato, being equally lazy, decides to join them. A glob of swamp ooze, tossed during the brotherly fight, has landed on the log. Stick in the Mud has gone into a delicious snooze. Rotten Tomato seems to enjoy this smelly, mucky swamp. He's napping next to his new partner in crime, Stick in the Mud. If Alexander tried to pick up the swamp ooze with his hands, it would only slip through his fingers. The cranky Stick in the Mud is sleeping now, and waking him up would be rather pointless. Alexander is quite happy to be rid of Rotten Tomato, and has no desire to fetch him from the swamp.
How are you finding your new surroundings, Mr. Tomato?
Can't you see I'm snoozing? All right, you done good. Now, go play in the street or something. Yeah.
I have this teacup.
Get out of my face with that ting!
Alexander fills the teacup with the swamp ooze. Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.